Welcome! Today, we're going on a journey through one of the most important processes in biology, the cell cycle.
Cells are the building blocks of life. Everything in life, from plants, animals, people, are all made out of cells. But we don't just need one cell, we need trillions. That's where cell division comes in.
Cells divide to help us grow, heal wounds, and replace older damaged cells. But they don't just randomly split whenever they want. They follow a very specific cycle, the cell cycle.
This cycle includes growing larger, copying the DNA of the original cell, and then dividing it into two daughter cells that are almost the exact same. The cell cycle is constantly happening inside of us, and you are always making new cells. However, the cells don't just split in 2 seconds. It takes a very long time for the parent cell to divide into two daughter cells.
For this reason, the cell cycle is split into many complex and unique phases that are all essential to the growth and division of the cell. Each of these phases each in its own special thing to help the cell replicate its DNA and grow in size.
The first and longest part of the cell cycle is known as the interphase. The interphase consists of 3 checkpoints or parts. The G1 phase stands for growth, the S phase stands for synthesis, and the G2 phase stands for growth as well.
Here is our human cell. Most human cells have 46 chromosomes, or 2n equals 46. But for the sake of time and simplicity, we will be showing 6 chromosomes, 2n equals 6. A chromosome consists of sister chromatids, 2 sister chromatids, and is made up of DNA and proteins. A chromosome carries our genetic information in the form of DNA, and they are essentially packets of DNA.
In the G1 phase, cells grow the most and synthesizes proteins and organelles, which are tiny structures that help the cell function. Here, the cell is getting big for division because the cell won't be able to divide if it is too small.
Next is the S phase, short for synthesis. Here, the cell copies its own DNA. Each chromosome is duplicated and becomes 2 sister chromatids held together at a centromere. And if the DNA wasn't copied correctly, the new cells would be messed up. That is why this step is super important.
Once DNA replication is complete, the G2 phase is initiated. This is the shortest phase, where more organelles for cell division are produced, just like the G1 phase. Once they are produced, the cell is ready to enter the next part of the cycle.
Now, the cell is ready to begin dividing. This phase is known as mitosis or the M phase. Mitosis is extremely short in comparison to the inner phase, but it is just as important. It will start with dividing the nucleus and end with 2 completely separate daughter cells. The M phase consists of 4 smaller phases: the prophase, the metaphase, the anaphase, and the telophase, which is closely related to cytokinesis.
In prophase, the genetic material inside the nucleus condenses, and the duplicated chromosomes, which are made out of sister chromatids, become visible, connected at the centromere. Then the nuclear membrane breaks down.
In the metaphase, the centromeres of each duplicated chromosome attach to spindle fibers, lining them across the center of the cell like this.
In anaphase, the spindle fibers pull the sister chromatids apart, separating them at the centromere, and then moving them to the opposite ends of the cell.
Cytokinesis is the final step of cell division, where the cytoplasm splits to form 2 identical daughter cells. In animal cells, the cell membrane pinches inward, creating a cleavage furrow that deepens until the cell is fully separated. Each new cell gets its own nucleus, organelles, and the exact same set of chromosomes, ready to begin the cycle again.
However, not all cells keep dividing. Some enter a resting stage called G0, where they leave the cell cycle and stop preparing for mitosis. Cells in G0 just carry out their normal functions without dividing again. This includes nerve cells and muscle cells, which can stay in this phase for a long time, sometimes permanently.